Hello everyone. I hope you all are safe and healthy. So today we are going to discuss chapter 1 of Elements of Accounting part 1. The chapter name is Introduction to Partnership. This is the part 1 which is going to be presented. Hi, I am Pratik Majmudar. Welcome to the channel. So, these are the marks allocated as per the board's blueprint. In section A, one MCQ is going to be asked, that is for 1 mark. In section C, a brief answer writing is there, one question, that is for 3 marks. And in total marks allocated as per the board blueprint, that is 4 marks. Majorly in this chapter, you are going to learn the theoretical things. Okay, so let's start with the first unit. Now, let's start with the introduction. You have seen in standard 11th, there is everything is only about sole proprietorship. Now, there are some limitations of a sole proprietorship. One limitation, that is basically capital, and second is a managerial limitations. So, to compensate on, there is emergence that come of partnership firm, that is because of these two only. So the partnership firm is emerged from the capital and managerial limitations of sole proprietorship. Let's take an example. For example, if I want to start a new business, I need a capital of rupees 10 lakhs. Okay, and I am a starting, I am managing the whole business by my own, and every profit is going to be occurred on that particular business is going to be taken by me. But what if I want to expand my business, but there is a limitations of a capital? I have limited capital. So what I can do? I can introduce a new partner into a business and he will bring some capital. So I can run my business effectively. And if there is only one person who is managing the business, instead of that, if there are two, so there are two minds which are working for this. Okay. So now the question will arise, why partnership? So these are the major three reasons why you need to start a partnership firm. One, that is an individual has a sufficient funds, but he doesn't have the required skills. That is the first one. Means you have the sufficient funds. That means you have numbers of money. You have a good capital, but the skills are not there. If you want to run any kind of business, you need a good skills. So if there is no skills are there, then there will be issue. You are not going to earn a good profit. Second, if an individual has a sufficient skills, means he has the skills but he don't have the fund, so that is also an issue. So these are the two things, vice versa thing. And last, to distribute the business risk. If any of one, we are knowing that uh, whatever we are amount is deposited, higher the risk, higher the gain, if you have heard this term. What we are doing, we are distributing our business risk by introducing a new partner. That means the responsibilities are in different hands, so the business risk are divided into two or three partners. The numbers of partners are there in the firm. Okay, now let's see the real definition of partnership. So this is the definition of partnership as per section 4 of Indian Partnership Act 1932. The partnership is a relation between the persons who have agreed to share profit of business carried on by all or any of them acting for all. What does it mean? It means partnership, it's a relation between persons who are agreed to share their profit. Understand this? It is a relation of a person. It is in not in a singular verb. It is a plural. That means two or more than two persons are there. Okay, and they have agreed to share their profit of a business. Whatever the business is carried out by them, the profit is going to be shared. The profit is going to be shared, and the business is going to be managed by all or any one of them. Anyone can manage the business, all of them can manage the business, two or more person can manage the business. So that is the definition of partnership. Okay, as per the section 4 of Indian Partnership Act. This definition you need to remember and understand this. One MCQ is going to be asked as per the board's requirement. So they can ask like, this is the definition which is given by Partnership Act 1932. In which section the definition is written? So the answer is section 4. Okay, if any of the one who is starting a partnership firm, as per which contract he has to work, as per the Indian Partnership Act he has to work. Okay, now the person who enters into a such relationship are individually called as a partner and collectively they are called as a firm. That means if we are starting a business and there are two or more persons, then a single person is known as a partner when they are collectively, when they are together, when they are jointly working, that will be known as a firm. So the partners and the firm, both the things are different. If you are going to see the relationship individually, then it is a partner. If you are going to see the relationship collectively, then it is a firm. Okay, now the next point, that is the business run collectively in a partnership by two or more person is known as partnership firm. When there are two or more persons who are working in a business, then it is known as a partnership firm. That means collectively they are working as a partners, but what is the requirement? Two or more persons should be there, because if there is a single person, then it becomes a sole proprietorship. But as we are studying the partnership firm, their minimum number of persons should be two or more. I hope you have understood this. Now, what are the characteristics of a partnership firm? So these are the characteristics of partnership firm. There are 7 different categories. Let's see one by one. One, that is creation of contract, where the contract is made. Second is profit objective. When you are starting a business, you have to decide that we are going to start this business for earning a profit. Then third one, that is legal business. The business should be legal in the nature. Then the agent of each other, each and every partners is an agent of each other. Then the numbers of partner, how many numbers of people are there. Then unlimited liabilities, the liabilities are unlimited into their hands. And the last one, that is ownership and the management of the firm. So let's see everyone in detail, starting with the first one, that is creation by contract. So the partnership is done with a basic objective to earn the profit, but what we are going to do, we are going to make a contract for that. What we are going to make, we are going to make a contract. Now this agreement can be written or can be oral. Okay, understand this. This can be written as well as oral. That means if mutually two partners are coming together and they have decided orally, then it is also considered as a contract. Understood? Then a partnership firm, it is advisable to be on a written form. It is desirable as well, it is advisable as well. Why it is advisable? When there is an issue between the two or more partners, then what we are going to do? So what we are going to do, so the issue is, when there is a issue between these two or more partners, then what they are going to share the profit, how they are going to share the profit. If it is written in the contract, then there won't be any kind of issues. So the written form is more desirable, it is more advisable. But understand this, a contract or the agreement can be written or oral. Now second is the profit objective. This is the second characteristic of partnership. Then understand this, the partnership forms to earn and distribute the profit. Why we are starting a business? We are starting it to earn a profit, earn from whatever business we are going to work. Then the distribution of profit and loss is done amongst the partners in their predetermined portion. That means when we are starting our business, we have decided that we are going to share our profit in this manner. So that is called as profit objective. If any kind of provision is not made, then the profit and loss should be distributed equally among the partners. Let's understand this in detail. For example, if I have started a business and I have decided to start a business with one of my partner, there are two partners. For example, the name of the partner is Pratik and Viral. The two partners are working together. Now the profit at the end of the year was happened 5 lakh rupees. So if the proportion is made that Viral is going to take 60 percentage and Pratik is going to get 40%, and then the 60-40 ratio, that means 3:2 ratio is going to be distributed among we two. That means 3 lakh is going to be taken by Viral sir, and 2 lakh rupees is going to be taken by Pratik. But what if I didn't make any kind of contract like that? So the profit is going to be distributed equally. That means both of us will going to get 2,50,000, 2,50,000 each. I think you have understood this. Let's start with the third one. Third, that is legal business. Any kind of partnership firm should be formed to do a legal business. Any business which is illegal in nature, that is void from the starting, that is called as void ab initio. From the starting it will be considered as a illegal business, then you are not allowed to start as a partnership firm. Let's see the fourth one, agent of each other. So the business of a partnership firm is run by all the partners or any of the partners or more than one partner. That means if there are one or two partners, if there are more than two partners, five partners, 10 partners are there, anyone can act as a person instead of anyone. So all the partners or any of the partners have the duties, have the liabilities, everything. So each and every partners is considered as an agent of each other. That means if someone is doing on business by their own, so that is also allowed in consideration of partnership firm. Let's start with the fifth one, numbers of partners. So as per the section 464 of Companies Act 2013, maximum 100 partners in a firm, but it has changed to 50 with the rule of Companies Miscellaneous Rules Act. This is the amendment made in Companies Act 2013. Now there are only 50 partners can start a business, but the maximum limit is 100. So these both are the maximum numbers of partners who can come into a contract and start a partnership firm. Now starting with the sixth one, that is unlimited liabilities. So the partners are individually and collectively responsible to the partnership firm. Whatever the business is going to be occurred, whatever the profit they are going to made, or whatever the loss they are going to made, if our loss is more than our assets, we have to sell our assets, and anyhow each and everyone will be responsible. So that's why it is called as unlimited liability. For example, if we have started a business and there is a loss in a business and we are going to wind up our business, so what we are going to do, we will distribute the losses. For example, if I become insolvent, then the other partners have to sell his property and everything should be paid, because the liabilities in partnership firm, that is unlimited in nature. So that is the sixth one. Let's start with the seventh. Seventh is ownership and management of firm. So the management of business is done by all the partners or any one of them or more than one partners. That means anyone can do a business, anyone can run, because we are an agent of each other. So the ownership and the management will be done by any one of them, by all of them, or more than one of the people. So these are the characteristics of partnership. Now, let's see what is called as partnership deed. We have seen that contract. Now, if there is a contract between the partners, that will be known as a partnership deed. Let's start this with this one. The partners undertake an agreement with the provision of Partnership Act. Now, what is Partnership Act means? The section 4 of Partnership Act, Indian Partnership Act 1932. Now, they are agreed on few terms. Then what they were doing, they were preparing or they were starting with a partnership deed. Let's go with that. The partnership deed is acceptable to all the partners is prepared at the time of the commencement of partnership firm. When we are starting a partnership firm, they have to accept some or few conditions, that is called as partnership deed. So the partnership agreement can be written on oral. So you have seen that it can be, a contract can be made in a written form, a contract can be made in an oral form. They are verbally agreed, then it is also allowed. But if it is written, if the contract is written agreement of a partnership, then it is called as a partnership deed. I hope you have understood this. So what are the contents which we are going to make when we are preparing a partnership deed? So there are different 14 types of concepts. Let's start with the first one. One, that is details of a partner, details of a firm, type of business. Then commencement of partnership, on which date we have started a business. Then the capital, how much capital each partner is going to be made. Then interest, whether we are going to give the interest on capital. Then the drawings, how much is allowed to withdraw from the business. Then if they were taking drawings, then what is the interest they are going to make. Then distribution of profit and loss, in which ratio we are going to distribute the profit and loss. Then the salary, bonus, commission and remuneration to each and every partners, how much salary we are going to get, how much bonus we are going to give. Then the interest on loan provided by the partners to the firm, how much interest will be given if the partners has given loan to the business. Then the goodwill, what is the goodwill of a business at the time of admission or retirement of a partner. Then the process of admission and retirement, and finally if they want to dissolve their business, what will be the circumstances and how they are going to dissolve. Let's see in detail, starting with the first one, that is details of partners. Okay, so in this one we are going to add the names of the partners, their addresses and other details. I would say other details means the residential address, then their Aadhaar card and PAN card numbers, then their telephonic numbers. These all details are going to be included in the first point. Now second is the details of firm. The partners and firm both are different. So what is called as details of firm? In this one, the details, the name of the firm should be there and the address of the firm should be there. These two things are going to be included in the second point. Now the third one, that is type of business. Which kind of business we are going to make? Is it a retail market? It is a wholesale market? It is a kirana shop? What kind of business we are going to run? It is a FMCG goods, fast moving consumable goods. What kind of business we are going to make? So this details should be included in the point number 3. Then fourth one, that is commencement of partnership. This is the date on which the partnership firm is started. So that date should be covered when you are making a deed. Now, fifth one, that is capital. The amount of capital introduced by each partner is mentioned in the deed. It is mandatory to bring the capital by each partner. It is not mandatory, sorry. It is not mandatory to bring a capital by each partner. When you are starting a business, it should be written in the forms whether how much capital you are going to take from the each and every partners who are coming for the business. But when you are making a deed, it is not mandatory, it is not compulsory. Mandatory, that means compulsory. It is not compulsory to bring a capital when you are starting a business, so that is non-compulsory in nature. Now, next point, that is interest on capital. For example, there are 2 or 3 partners who have bring a capital of 1 lakh rupees. So, in a contract, we have to mention whether we are going to give the interest on capital. That means the capital if we have brought, if what kind of interest we are going to pay. We are going to pay the interest or we are not going to pay the interest. That should be clear in this one. Then, if how much, if yes, I haven't written here, yes will be there. If yes, then how much percentage we are going to pay. That means if we have agreed that we are going to give interest on capital, so how much is the percentage we are going to make. So these points are included. In if there is no provisions is made about the interest on capital, then we are not going to pay any kind of interest as per the act. Now, seventh one, that is drawings. What is called as drawings? When you are withdrawing any amount as a partner from the business, then it is called as drawings. So, in this, there will be a limit specified. The maximum amount can be withdrawn by each partners. So, this is the maximum limit we can withdraw from the partners as a point of view of a partner. So, that should be mentioned in the deed. Next point, that is interest on drawings. If you have taken drawings, if you have taken any kind of withdrawal from the business, what percentage we are going to make? What are the numbers of percentage, or what are the percentage of percentage we are going to pay as an interest? That should be also mentioned in a partnership deed. So these are the 8 points. See the next one, that is 9 number, distribution of profit. So when the partners are agreed to form a business, they need to understand the business is run for the objective of earning profits. So we have to decide what type of profit we are going to distribute, in which ratio we are going to distribute the profit. So that should be shown when, or that should be mentioned when we are preparing the partnership deed. So in the proportion of profit and loss, the distribution among the partners is going to be occurred. But if such provision is not there, if we haven't made any kind of provision how much profit we are going to give to each partners, then the whole profit and loss will be distributed equally. Understand this. If no provision, then it is going to be distributed equally. Then number 10, that is salary, bonus, commission and remuneration to the partner. First of all, there is no such provisions for that. But if any of the partners is taking active participation in a business, then you can make his salary, you can make a bonus to him, you can give him the commission on the selling which he is doing in a percentage way, and you can give him some extra remuneration to the partners if it is necessary, if you understand or if you are agreed to give this to the partners. But there is no such kind of provisions into a business, into any kind of partnership business. Then if interest on loans provided by the partnership to the firm, that means a partner has given a loan to the partnership firm, that means to the business, not to the partners. So any of the partner has given the loan to the business, then the rate should be mentioned. And if the rates are not mentioned as per the partnership deed, then as per the act you have to follow 6 percentage per annum rate of interest, and it will be paid to the partners, and interest is treated as an expense. It is considered as an expense for the firm, because we are making accounts of a firm, not of an individual persons. So this will be considered as an expense because we have taken loan, the business have taken loan from the partners, and we have to give them the interest. And interest, if the rate is not mentioned, it is going to be given at a 6 percentage rate of interest. So as it is an expense, then it is going to be written on a debit side. Okay, so I hope you have understood this. Point number 12, that is goodwill. So by which way we are going to calculate the goodwill? The computation of goodwill to be made at the time of admission, retirement and death. Every time when there is admission of a new partner, every time when there is a retirement or a death of a partner, then we will communicate, or we will compute the goodwill every time. Now next, the provisions related to the admission and the retirement. So in this one, what we are going to do, the provisions to be made pertaining the admission and the retirement. In which condition the partners are admitted, in which condition partner are retired, this should be mentioned in this particular point. Next, that is 14 and the last one, dissolution of a firm. So there are basically two questions. In which circumstances the firm can be dissolved? Whether on a time of retirement of a partner, whether the profit is not made by the business, whether a particular partner has died. So whether we are going to dissolve the firm, so these all circumstances should be written in that particular point. And the last one, what procedure we are going to adopt, by which way we will dissolve the firm. So these are the contents of partnership deed. This question can be asked in the board examination. This is the most important. If you remember this all 14 points, you are going to score full marks. Okay. Now this is about the contents in partnership deed. But if someone has done an oral contract, so what we are going to do when there is any kind of disputes between the partners? So this is the solution. If there is no provision, so there are some provisions which is written in Indian Partnership Act 1932, when there is an absence of partnership deed. If the partners are agreed to start a business but they haven't started with the partnership deed, then these seven circumstances or these seven provisions are given. First, each partner contributes capital in a business by mutual agreement. They are mutually agreed that we are going to make this amount as a capital, but there is no restriction regard to this. There is no restriction. The amount is not fixed. and same way it is not mandatory, understand this. To bring a capital into a business, that is not necessary. You can start a business, you can agree, it is a mutual agreement. If I and Viral have started a business, if I am bringing a capital of 3 lakh rupees and Viral is not bringing the capital, then it is also okay, because it is not mandatory to bring the capital. Second point, that is interest on capital to the partners cannot be paid. Whatever the capital which is bring by the partners, the interest is not paid to the partners. We are going to see the conditions when there is an absence of partnership deed. So if there is an absence, as per the act, we are not going to give any kind of interest on the capital which is brought by the partners themselves. Then third, that is distribution of profit and loss would remain in equal proportion. So we have decided that profit and loss is going to be distributed, but the percentage is not written. Then the amount is going to be distributed on a equal proportion. That means 1 is to 1, 1 is to 1 is to 1. That means how many partners are there? The proportion should be equal. That means equally it is distributed the whole amount between the partners. Fourth one, that is interest on drawings of the partners cannot be charged. That means whatever the amount has been drawn by the partners, we are not going to charge any kind of interest on that. Okay, so if you are withdrawing any amount of money from the business and if there is an absence of partnership deed, then we are not going to charge any type of interest from the partners. Now see the fifth point, that is salary, bonus, commission, remuneration cannot be paid to the partners. If there is an absence, we are not going to pay this to the partner. Then the point number 6, 6% per annum interest is payable for the loan given by the partners to the firm. If you are paying the loans to the partners, if you are paying if a partner has paid the loan to the business, then the rate of interest, that is 6%, 6% rate of interest will be payable on the loans which are given by the partners to the business. And the last one for today's topic, in case of any reasonable expense incurred by the partners, then the firm has to remit that and reimburse that. For example, for the development of a business, if any of the partner has incurred any kind of expenses, they have the rights to take it or reimbursement it from the partnership firm. So this is all for today. Next we are going to discuss the further things. So this is the end of the first part. I hope you have liked the video. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and make the notes from this. This will help you in board examination. Thank you. Jai Hind.